The immense trauma the families are going through, we didn't go through it. We are all still going through it.
It's a deep, raw emotional pain for these parents of a Clear Creek Elementary first grade student.
It has completely rocked our family.
This family is one of the 88 families with little girls impacted. Prosecutors say their former gym teacher, Austin Hopkins, inappropriately touched them at school. Gut-wrenching images this family has now seen on surveillance video.
Where he had called her over, and while he up to his side, and while she's there, he starts rubbing her butt and thigh just over and over, up and down, while he nuzzles her head and his shoulder.
Despite that,
all 88 girls are victims in the sense of kind of what he's done. It's not just hugs.
As prosecutors explained at a news conference last month,
we believe there was evidence not just of inappropriate contact, but also of potential criminal conduct.
Their daughter's case is one of 60 that did not meet criminal conduct standards. Prosecutors say actual illegal sexual contact as defined under Ohio law
for the purposes of sexually arousing either or gratifying either person
only happened to 28 of the first graders.
If you look at what happened to our daughter, she's not one of the 28, but clearly to us, by watching the video, it's not right. There's something clearly wrong.
Did she have any idea that she was being abused?
I don't think she did.
I don't think so.
I was confused.
Erin Marin can relate. She says she was around the same age as the girls in the Hopkins case when her sexual abuse started.
So I kept it a secret.
Now she's on a mission to make sure all U.S. public schools implement what she calls a prevention-oriented child sexual abuse program.
The differences between safe and unsafe touch, safe and unsafe secrets, empowering kids if you're being abused.
Right now, that type of education is not mandatory for Ohio public school students. Instead, under state law, it's up to the local district.
News Center 7 reached out to Springboro schools multiple times requesting an on-camera interview for this story. They declined, but did provide us with a statement.
The district spokesperson saying in part, in the past, Clear Creek Elementary, which serves students preschool through first grade, has not implemented child sexual abuse education for students. Going on to say, given the age of the students preschool through first grade, the district's belief, in conjunction with Springboro Schools Mental Health Services Department, is that this type of education is typically suited to begin at home. Marin disagrees, saying if the prosecutor's allegations hold true, Erin's law could have made a difference in the Hopkins case, where the victims were 6 and 7 years old when they were allegedly abused.
Had Erin's law existed, and these kids are being taught this in this elementary school, I guarantee you we would not be seeing the number of children that have been abused.
If she was just more educated, I think that she would have come to us and said something.
36 states have passed the legislation, but Ohio is not one of them.
It has died in committee every single year.
Marin says despite a social media campaign last year, she has not been able to figure out why Senate Education Chair Andrew Brenner did not allow for a vote.
Sadly, once again, for the 5th year, it died in Ohio.
The I-Team reached out to Senator Brenner. He says while he likely would have supported Erin's law, he did not have the votes to pass it out of his committee because a majority of members felt it took away control from local districts. If Erin's law were to pass in Ohio, it would change state policy. Right now, the Department of Education spokesperson told the I-Team state law currently mandates that local districts get to decide what health education is taught. Within that, the state only requires districts teach personal safety and assault prevention and related topics.
They need to get better wording in there.
Marin says without a key phrase, the current law has a loophole.
You need to get in the word sexual abuse prevention.
Local experts say that specific type of education is key for children.
It starts giving them permission and that empowerment to know that if something doesn't feel right in their body and they're not comfortable with something, that they can tell somebody.
Amy Fornshell is the manager of the Warren County Child Advocacy Center, whose staff assisted the girls in the Hopkins case.
Does this need to be a top priority for lawmakers?
Absolutely. I think the sooner that we can provide this information to kids and their families and the language and prevent it, the better we'll be as a state.
But Marin says Ohio is nowhere close to moving forward with this legislation.
Ohio's one of the few states that do not, there's 3, that do not have a legislator sponsoring this bill.
It has to be required. And then maybe one of the girls would have said something.
What do you want the message to be to state lawmakers?
What's taking so long?
For the I-Team, Molly Kowick, News Center 7.